The night sky over Israel was bright like it was burning. It was October 1st, 2024, a date the world would never forget. One moment, there was silence. The next, hundreds of glowing streaks cut through the darkness. The sirens screamed again, but this time they were drowned by the deep, thunderous roar of missiles slicing through the air. Wave 2 incoming, a voice shouted over the Israeli military comms. Soldiers scrambled, eyes wide, hearts racing. In one command center near Tel Aviv, an officer stared at his radar in disbelief. There are too many. Over 200 signals, all live. Outside, the Iron Dome interceptors fired like lightning bolts. Trails of fire crisscrossed the heavens, explosions flashed like daylight, and the entire horizon looked alive. For every missile stopped, another slipped through. In the southern city of Beersheba, a young reporter named Sarah Keller crouched behind a broken wall, filming the chaos with her trembling hands. This is the largest direct missile attack ever seen, she whispered into her camera. The ground shook again as another explosion ripped across the city's edge. She looked up. More missiles, hundreds, still coming. The second wave had begun. And this time, something was different. Because buried among those missiles was one that didn't belong, a new type of warhead, one no one had seen before. The screen on Sarah's camera flickered. She turned, hearing a low, rising hum, almost electrical. "What is that?" she muttered. Then the world flashed white. And everything went dark. 2 weeks earlier, nothing seemed unusual. The world had calmed a little after the April 2024 assault. Israel and Iran were still enemies, but both sides had gone quiet, too quiet. People began to think maybe the worst was over. Daniel Reese, the American intelligence officer who had barely survived the April attack, was still stationed in Tel Aviv. He had a small apartment overlooking the sea. He tried to live normally again, morning coffee, daily reports, a jog by the shore. But something inside him couldn't rest. Every night, he checked the encrypted feeds from Tehran. Most were static or harmless chatter. But one night in mid-September, a single transmission caught his attention. It was a coded message marked, Operation True Promise 2. He leaned closer. The file was short, just coordinates, dates, and one sentence, 2 waves. Night sky. Promise fulfilled. Daniel's gut twisted. The last operation with that name had been the April drone assault, and it had almost triggered a regional war. He called Sarah. "You remember what I told you back in April, about Sable Path, about the hidden backdoor in the defense system?" "Yes," she said. "You told me someone inside was helping the attacks get through." "Well," he said quietly, "it's still active." Sarah frowned. "You're saying it's not over?" Daniel paused, staring at the glowing code on his screen. "No. I'm saying it's about to happen again." Across the sea, in a secret Iranian bunker near Kermanshah, General Hassan Rahimi stood in front of a massive wall of screens. His officers waited for his signal. The code name for tonight's plan flashed across every monitor, Operation True Promise 2. This time, there would be no drones. No half measures. This was pure retaliation. 200 ballistic missiles, divided into 2 waves. Each target chosen with precision. Rahimi spoke softly, his voice cold. "We gave our word after Damascus. The world must see that Iran does not forget." A technician asked, "General, what about the second payload? The one from the lab?" Rahimi hesitated for a moment, then nodded. "Deploy it in the final wave. The Americans will not know what it is until it's too late." He turned back to the map. Red dots blinked over Israeli cities, Haifa, Tel Aviv, Jerusalem, Ashdod, Beersheba. But one dot, a small one, blinked differently. An unlisted target. Unknown to anyone except Rahimi himself. Daniel tried to warn his superiors. "They're planning something massive," he told Colonel Levi. "It's called True Promise 2. 2 waves, simultaneous impact." Levi sighed. "You have proof?" "Enough to sound an alarm." Daniel snapped. "The attack window is in days." But the colonel shook his head. "We've had too many false alarms. Without hard data, I can't alert the entire defense grid." Daniel clenched his fists. "You said that last time, and 200 people died." Levy's eyes fell. "I'll escalate it quietly," he said. "But until then, keep monitoring." Daniel left the room, angry and helpless. That night, he met Sarah at a quiet pier in Jaffa. The sea breeze was cold, the city lights dim. "They won't listen," he told her. "It's happening again." Sarah turned on her recorder. Then we make them listen. We show the evidence. Daniel shook his head. It's too big. They'll block us before it airs. She looked him in the eye. Then we go live when it starts. September 30th. The last calm night. In Tehran, the countdown began. Missile crews prepared the launches hidden deep in underground silos. Commanders received final codes. Engineers checked navigation systems. At exactly 11:50 p.m. Tehran time, General Rahimi gave the order. Wave 1. Missiles roared into the sky, lighting up the Iranian desert with orange fire. Civilians miles away saw the horizon glow like sunrise. Within minutes, radar stations across the Middle East picked up hundreds of signals, all moving west. Daniel's phone buzzed violently. He looked at the screen and froze. Inbound strikes, multiple trajectories, over 100 launches detected. He ran. Through the hallways, up the stairs, to the command deck. Levi was already shouting orders. Get Iron Dome online. Shield all major cities. Now. But even as interceptors fired, the system began to lag. Daniel's heart sank, it was happening again. Sable Path had been reactivated. The network was being jammed from within. He turned to a technician. Cut satellite relay. Run on local control. The tech hesitated. That'll take us offline. Do it before the second wave hits. Daniel shouted. Outside, the first missiles exploded in the sky. Dozens intercepted, dozens more hit open land, military bases, and power plants. Shockwaves rolled across the desert. Sarah was already broadcasting live from a rooftop. This is Sarah Keller reporting from Tel Aviv. Iran has launched over 100 ballistic missiles in what officials are calling the largest strike in decades. We are witnessing a full-scale assault. The camera jolted as a blast echoed nearby. Flames rose from the distance. She turned, heart pounding. Another explosion just hit near the southern perimeter. The Iron Dome is active, but some missiles are getting through. Meanwhile, deep inside the Iranian bunker, Rahimi watched calmly. First wave complete, a colonel said. Begin wave 2, Rahimi replied. The second wave launched, even faster, even deadlier. And hidden among them was the special missile, the one carrying a classified payload known only as Falcon. But Falcon wasn't meant to destroy. It was meant to disrupt, an electromagnetic pulse designed to blind Israel's radar systems for several minutes. Just enough time for the others to hit their marks. Back in Tel Aviv, Daniel watched his monitors go dark. We're blind, someone whispered. No, Daniel said quietly. We're being blinded. He pulled a cable from the terminal and plugged in his own device, a private offline link he'd built after the April attack. Slowly, the feed came back online. And what he saw made his blood run cold. One of the incoming signals didn't match any known missile signature. It was faster, and it was heading straight for the heart of Tel Aviv. Sarah's live feed flickered. Daniel? I think I just saw something different in the sky, she said through the comm. It's bigger. It's glowing blue. Daniel froze. Get off that roof, now. What is it? She asked, panicked. But before he could answer, the radar alarm screamed, a different sound this time, deeper and faster. The mysterious missile was seconds away. Daniel grabbed the radio. All units, brace for impact. Unknown payload inbound. This is not a drill. He ran for the shelter as the building lights flickered. The air grew heavy. Static electricity buzzed through every surface. Then came a blinding flash, brighter than any explosion yet. And just as suddenly as it began, everything went silent. No sirens. No comms. No power. Just darkness. Daniel opened his eyes in the faint light of the fires outside. What just happened? He whispered. Sarah's voice crackled weakly over the comm. Daniel, the sky turned blue. Everything stopped. Is it over? Daniel looked at the radar, frozen screens, dead signals. And then, faintly, one light began to blink again. Not from Iran. Not from Israel. From somewhere else. God, he whispered, staring at the coordinates. That's inside our own system. He stood there, breathless, realizing the awful truth. The real attack wasn't just from the sky, it was coming from within. And before he could speak again, a distant rumble rolled across the horizon. Something else was coming. The rumble wasn't fading. It was growing. Daniel steadied himself against the shaking wall as the sound deepened. Not thunder, not missiles, but something heavier. He stumbled toward the command center window, heart hammering, and looked out. Across Tel Aviv, the skyline glowed red. Fires burned in patches like scattered stars. Smoke curled up into the night sky, hiding the moon. But down below, on the coast, something strange was happening. Bright, pulsing lights flickered under the sea, spreading in wide circles. He turned to the technician beside him. "What's that light?" The man's voice trembled. "Not sure, sir. The systems are down, we're still blind." Then, faintly through the static on the emergency channel, Sarah's voice came through again. "Daniel? I'm near the waterfront. People are saying there's something under the water, glowing. It's not missiles. It's different." Daniel's mind raced. The Falcon payload. The EMP. He remembered the last line of the intercepted file, promise fulfilled in light. His throat tightened. "This isn't over," he said quietly. "It's only beginning." An hour earlier, deep underground in Tehran, General Rahimi stood in silence. The second wave had been launched, and the command room was buzzing with success reports. Multiple impacts confirmed across Israel, one officer said. Power grids failing, radar disrupted. We have achieved tactical superiority. Rahimi didn't respond. His eyes stayed on a small red icon on the corner of the map, the Falcon unit. "Status?" he asked. "Still in the air," the officer replied. "Impact in less than 5 minutes." Rahimi's hands tightened behind his back. He had approved the Falcon warhead under pressure from senior scientists, who claimed it was purely defensive, a technological weapon that would blind Israel's defenses, not kill civilians. But something about it had never sat right with him. He looked at the live feed again. The Falcon missile was descending, its signal steady and strong. "May God protect us all," he murmured. Back in Tel Aviv, the lights began to flicker back to life. Daniel's emergency monitors blinked on one by one. The static cleared just long enough to display a single word on the central screen, "executing." His eyes widened. It wasn't from the Iron Dome or the radar system. It was a line of code from Sablepath, the same hidden backdoor he thought they'd closed months ago. Someone had reactivated it. Someone inside the Israeli network. He turned to the technician. "Disconnect every external link. Now." The man hesitated. "That'll isolate the entire defense grid." "Do it." Daniel snapped. The technician reached for the keyboard, but before he could hit enter, the screen flashed white. Lines of data scrolled so fast they blurred. Then, every monitor went black again. "What happened?" Daniel demanded. The technician shook his head. "The system, it's rewriting itself." Suddenly, the speakers crackled to life, not a voice, but a sound. A digital hum, almost like breathing. And then, through the distortion, came a faint automated message. "Phase 2 complete. Awaiting confirmation for Phase 3. Daniel's stomach dropped. "There's a Phase 3? Meanwhile, Sarah was still by the waterfront. The air was thick with smoke and salt. Dozens of people gathered by the railings, watching the sea pulse with strange blue light. Her camera rolled. "This is Sarah Keller reporting live from Tel Aviv. The attack may be over, but something unprecedented is unfolding off the coast. The water appears to be glowing." A low boom cut her off. The water erupted upward in a massive plume of steam and light. People screamed and scattered as debris rained down. Sarah hit the ground, shielding her head. Her camera spun across the pavement, still recording. When she looked up, a strange silence filled the air. The glowing water was gone, replaced by ripples moving outward. Then she saw it, a long, dark shape surfacing just offshore. Metallic. Mechanical. She grabbed her phone and called Daniel. He answered immediately, his voice tight. "Sarah, get away from the water." "You need to see this," she said breathlessly. "There's something rising from the sea. It's not a missile, it's man-made. Like a drone, but bigger." Daniel froze. "Describe it." "It's black, covered in panels, like solar plates. It's moving toward the coast." Daniel's heart pounded. "That's the second part of Falcon." "What does that mean?" she asked. "It's a carrier, autonomous. It's transmitting the same code that infected our defense system." Miles away, inside a hidden server bunker outside Lod, the same one Daniel and Cole had discovered months before, the air was alive with whirring fans and blinking lights. On one of the monitors, the same word repeated in bold red letters, "Confirmation pending." A figure in a gray coat typed a series of commands. "Falcon carrier has reached position," he said into a headset. A voice replied on the other end, calm and measured. "Proceed to final sequence." Execute on my mark. The man hesitated. Sir, are we sure? This will breach civilian zones. That's not your concern, the voice said. This isn't war. It's cleansing. The man swallowed hard and pressed enter. Back in Tel Aviv, Daniel raced to the communications panel, trying to reroute the systems. We need to locate the Falcon carrier now. A voice behind him said, you can't. He turned. Colonel Levi stood there, pale and shaken, holding a small tablet. Sir, what do you mean we can't? Daniel asked. Levi handed him the tablet. Because the access codes were signed off by our own security division. They authorized Falcon to enter our waters before the attack. Daniel's face went white. That's impossible. Who signed it? Levi looked at him grimly. You're not going to like the answer. He turned the tablet toward him. The authorization line read, Cole Harrison. Daniel's mind reeled. Cole, the man who had helped him uncover Sablepath. The one who risked his life to expose the system. He's dead, Daniel said. He was killed in April. Levi shook his head. Apparently not. Before Daniel could respond, an alarm blared through the command center. The speaker crackled again. Phase 3 confirmed. Outside, the sea exploded. A shockwave rolled through the city, knocking Daniel off his feet. Windows shattered. The lights went out again. A huge column of water and flame rose from the shore, twisting like a tornado. Sarah screamed into her camera, something's detonated near the coastline. The entire waterfront is. The feed cut out. Daniel struggled to his feet, coughing through smoke. What just hit us? Levy's voice was faint. Not a warhead, something electromagnetic. Daniel stared through the cracked window at the rising column. Inside the glowing mist, faint arcs of light moved like veins, spreading across the air, across buildings, like living electricity. The EMP had triggered something far worse. It was spreading. Evacuate the city, Daniel said, voice shaking. Now. But the radios were dead. The network was gone. Even the backup batteries refused to start. They were cut off. He grabbed the dead intercom MIC, whispering to himself. Cole, what did you do? Then he heard it, faint, from the far end of the corridor. A voice, echoing softly. Daniel. He froze. He turned slowly. The hallway lights flickered, and through the smoke, a shadow appeared, tall, limping, wearing a gray coat. Cole. He was alive. But his eyes, they weren't the same. They glowed faintly blue, like the light spreading through the city. Cole? Daniel whispered. Cole smiled faintly. You were right. There was someone inside the system. He paused, tilting his head. You just never realized it was me. Daniel stepped back, horror and disbelief filling his chest. What have you done? Cole raised his hand, revealing a small device, the same kind of drive Daniel once used to copy Sablepath's data. Only this one was pulsing with light. I didn't start the war, Daniel, Cole said calmly. I'm ending it. Before Daniel could move, Cole pressed the device against the control panel. The screen lit up again, bright white, and the words flashed across every monitor in the room. Operation True Promise 2, Final Execution. Daniel lunged forward. Cole, stop. Cole looked at him one last time, eyes glowing brighter. You can't stop what's already been promised. Then the floor shook. A deep, rolling roar filled the earth beneath them. The Falcon carrier had activated fully. And this time, it wasn't just launching signals. It was launching something else.